Awesome. So welcome. I am Allison Rollins. I am an owner and a doula for High Country Doulas. I love helping support moms with postpartum support, prenatally and in labor and birth. So our team of wonderful doulas that's worked with us loves to help support parents to make that transition, whether it's your first time, second time, third, or more than that. So welcome tonight. We're glad you're here with us for Simplify Motherhood. I have three wonderful children of my own who are bigger than me. I am the smallest person in the family at this point. And I just want to help you to enjoy your time in that transition into motherhood and beyond that. There's lots of resources out there to help you make sure that you get an understanding of what's to come and then what your choices are. And there's so many wonderful people out there, providers, family, friends, that can help you share with you what were the choices they had. And sometimes those choices may not be the choices that you make, but they may give you some insight into looking at other things that might be right for you. So welcome to our Simplified Motherhood. Tonight, I'm really going to talk about specifically about motherhood and about that journey that you take with your partner. So you may be taking this journey alone, but if you have a partner, we're going to talk about those as well. And along the way, if you have any questions, put those in the chat bar. I won't pause for those, but I do want to make sure I answer those at the end. If your questions don't get answered, we want to make sure we address those. So tonight's webinar, we're going to share different ways that you can really focus on simplifying motherhood into more of a happier and healthier lifestyle. As we move through this webinar, I would love for you to share and ask questions, really sharing your experiences or what you've heard. We want to debunk myths if they're out there, and know that some of these things may not work for your family. So take what works for you and just leave the rest. So we were used to really kind of portraying ourselves as being sort of the tough, strong, independent. So we're Americans. We tend to want to be able to be independent, be able to do things on our own, get by on our own. And in America, we really champion those types of abilities. But when it comes to motherhood and that transition, your ability to be able to accept and honor your need for support is going to help you to have an easier time in that transition. It's a natural cycle of life, and we want to be able to have the support we need, but still set up the boundaries as well that we might need to set up. So don't downplay any kind of trauma or anything that you may experience in birth. Some women may experience what others feel is a wonderful, beautiful birth, right? And people say, oh, what a fast labor you have. Aren't you so glad that it was so fast? But to that mom may have really felt an extreme emotional and physical experience that was traumatic to that mom. So we never want to not listen to ourselves, not be aware of those emotions and those feelings that we have as moms. And that begins really even prenatally, but it can really manifest itself in your labor and birth experience. So honor that in yourself and talk to your doula, talk to your friends, whoever you need to process that. And we understand that a strong support system of peers are also really crucial in helping you to navigate that. So your peers and your supportive partners can be really a strong support system for you, as well as your family. So whether you have a tight-knit community of longtime friends, or maybe your friends are going to be new that you may have found them at a new moms group like Babes on Blankets. You may have found them at a stroller club. You may have found them at some people at your church who've had babies the same time as you. So if you can't find those, you can always reach out to High Country Doulas. We have lots of different ways to connect you with people to create that community that you're looking for. It can really make kind of the world of difference when it comes to how you feel day to day in that postpartum period. All right. So you, at this point, read all the books, listened to all the podcasts. You have, um, watched all the YouTube, the birth tube videos. You're like trying to soak up as much as you can. You've talked to your friends who've already had babies. Um, but are you physically prepared for your little guy or gal? So try to think ahead about how you'd like to incorporate baby into your own passions. Do you like to hike? Right? Being prepared with a specialty stroller or maybe a wearable baby carrier. You are physically active and you want to be able to enjoy that. So plan ahead for those kind of things. Do you like to swim? Maybe you want to get your baby into newborn swim classes so that you can share that love with your child. It's one of the amazing things about being a parent is we get to share what's important to us with our child and let them explore the world in that way. Uh, Chances are that you'd like to enjoy something that might not be entirely safe for your baby, right? So don't be discouraged if you can't share those with your baby right away. You'll be able to share those in the future. Really do research on the best time to enjoy these things. Come up with a list who you can trust to babysit, right? People that you feel comfortable with. So when you feel ready to leave your baby with someone else, you have that kind of set in stone and you're not scrambling for it. It's always nice to be prepared. And I always tell moms, like, you don't have to leave to have somebody come over and take care of your baby. You can stay there, and that can be a good transition for moms. A lot of moms like to have in-home support so that they can do the things that they love to do, but they are not totally responsible for babies. They have somebody who's qualified professional to help them with that. Babies are great ways to socialize and to connect with people. So whether you have old friends and you've been in the community for a long time, or you are new to family, you can use babies. There's so many different avenues to use babies to be able to make those new friendships and socialize and get out. And that's an important piece of our early motherhood. All right. So babies are just incredibly good at turning our world totally upside down, right? This can be a huge stress on your relationship with your significant other. Mothers are also hormonal. So as women, we tend to have kind of some imbalances, just that as our bodies are resetting after birth, it's natural for us to have some ups and downs with our mood. So it's totally normal for that to be disruptive. And you may not necessarily like the way that your partner is like changing diapers or feeding your baby a bottle. Um, and you might even have a hard time with that trust, even though you really do trust your partner. He may not necessarily be doing it the way that you want him to do. So that is all in the ranges of normal. We do sometimes have to take deep breaths, just like we would in birth, and kind of help ourselves transition. It's just not all butterflies and unicorns for you or your partner. And being able to have conversations about that is really, really important when it comes to taking care of your baby and when it comes to being able to get self-care for yourself. So aside from aiding you through pregnancy and labor process, as well as learning the ropes of when it comes to your baby's needs, he is also trying to take care of you emotionally and physically. I always tell moms, I'm like, so you're having trouble with your partner being able to know what to do with your baby. And I would say, like, well, have you had a conversation about it? Or um, does he know that you don't like it when the dishes are piling up in the sink? Well, no, but he should know. So I always say, like, guys are amazing and partners are amazing, but they cannot read our minds. So we really have to actually verbalize that. We have to say, I really need you to help me with the dishes. I want the kitchen sink to be clean right now, and that's going to make me feel a lot better. Could you help me with that? So there's a lot of different things that we have to do with those first couple weeks and even that first whole year to help not only our ourselves feel calm and um, feel like we're managing. I hate to use the word managing, but we just feel like things are kind of in a balance and that you can move through the day without feeling that things are not as they should be. So there is a shift that happens after a baby that nothing's ever going to go back to exactly how it is. But there are some things that we can do if you're a woman who really wants to um, make sure that you have um, that you keep your house neat, like that is really important to you. Then you and your husband can talk about those things prior to having a baby if you are still in that space, and really talk about who's going to do this, how's that going to get done, because you're not going to be able to do it. You're going to be holding and feeding your baby, and you're going to be recovering from giving birth. And that's one thing I think is really important, that our roles are going to shift, and we're just going to shift those a little bit, and then they'll shift back a little bit as we start to heal. You will be able to, but you have to talk and trust your partner. We're going to feel cranky, we're not going to have sleep, and that's going to be for both sides. So really make a commitment to having conversations and just talking about how you feel. Like, this is how I feel. I feel like I need. Right. So after the baby is born, bonding over like mealtime, working out, or relaxing on the deck together will turn into bonding, while helping kind of each other change the diaper pail or take out the trash, taking baby for a walk, or cleaning mashed vegetables from the crevices of the high chair. So yes, taking the hose to the high chair. That's what I used to do. It's a whole new level, right? Knowing that you're both together in this, sometimes there's a new intimacy and a new love that happens, that we bond with our partners after we have babies together. And that is just it's like a beautiful piece of that change. And sometimes it's hard to see, but I think I see it in dad's eyes when moms um, have that new baby on their chest. It's sort of like this beaming pride that dads have, and they just really want to. They just can't believe how amazing their wife is, their partner, and they're just really so excited. And it's like a new falling in love again. It's really very special. And so just maybe being present for this and being open and aware. Spending time snuggling together is really great. So some things to conquer together. So as a team, so as you adapt and bond, feeding time. You can breastfeed your baby, but you can also pump your milk if you want to and let your husband feed your baby. Come and take our infant feeding class, and we can show you how you can do that so your baby still breastfeeds really well. We love showing moms and dads that. Bathing, one person cleans and the other person dries. So you're kind of doing that dual. Appointments. So with appointments, you don't have to be the only one to take baby to an appointment. You can have your partner take your baby if it's a short enough time, or you can both go. So plan it around your ability for both of you to go. You also want to spend time with family members. So doing that together is really important, and taking care of each other. You know, feeding each other, making sure that they have the space and time. I know with my husband, when he would come home from work, it was really important to him to have some downtime. And as a mom who had been with two little ones all day, I was often like, take the babies, I'm ready for a break. And what I learned after having conversations with him was that he just needed a little space to unwind. And so as a person who plays guitar, that was his space and time to do that. So after he came home from work, and we said hello, he would go and play guitar for a little bit. And then once he had that, then he was ready to interact with the kids and be there. And so sometimes you just have to make those conversations happen so that you know how you can make that balance. All right. Babies and all humans really feel much better when they get outdoors and get some fresh air. My mother-in-law used to tell my children, all God's children need fresh air and sunshine. And there is a renewal to ourselves and our emotional state when we are in nature. So go on adventures with your babies. There's lots of ways to carry your baby, wrapping your baby, taking your baby out after they've been fed and they're tired. Oftentimes they'll sleep in carriers. We have a couple of wonderful resources if you need to know more about being able to carry your baby or baby wear, that you can do it in a safe way. So lots of wonderful ways to be able to connect with your baby by intimately holding your baby and keeping your baby close, but also being able to allow yourself to have some time to renew yourself and get outside. Um, there are probably lots of stroller clubs as well. So if you're not into baby wearing or your kid is older, you can get out the stroller and go for a walk on some paths, some greenways, or go to a park. Lots of ways to meet other people too. Or in the first couple of days, I often recommend just going out and walking on the porch. Is a great way just to get what you need and feel like you can handle the rest of the day. For those of you who may have your baby in the winter time, you may not feel comfortable taking your baby out. So taking your baby to the mall or taking a stroller to the mall or going to indoor spaces, children's museums, and that way can be a really wonderful way to get out and to interact with other adults, going to libraries, baby time. Those are really wonderful places to get out with your baby. It's really super easy to kind of forget about our own needs and in that first year. Sometimes we will forget to eat, drink, and even go to the bathroom because we're really hyper focused on our new babies. And it is completely normal and typically I see this happen to a lot of new mothers, kind of putting your own needs aside. Like maybe it was just too stressful for you to get a shower because baby was screaming and didn't want to be put down and you couldn't put him down. And so those are the times when you get out that list of people that you can call on whenever you need them. I do this all the time for moms as a postpartum doula because self-care, even just a short amount of time by yourself, showering, brushing your teeth, going on a short walk, can make you feel like you can handle the rest of the day. And that you would have never thought of that before you had a baby, but it is so amazing. Naps too can be great. So if you notice your partner is constantly being overwhelmed, whether you're dad or mom or however you are there, you need to kind of help support her. So moms can get really easily dehydrated because they forget to drink and they're going. And this is not only breastfeeding moms, but all moms. we forget to take care of that. And they get so hungry, their hunger passes. And then what happens with that is those emotional ups and downs happen. So self-care is is really a necessity. I know in a lot of cultures they have what we call like lying in, so that moms can really not be responsible for anything except for feeding the baby and resting. And this allows women to be able to heal both physically and emotionally in that postpartum period. And as a doula, I often am able to do this for moms, which is just fantastic. But you may have, somebody else, a really good friend, a sister, a mom, auntie, a grandmother, who can come with you and be with you after the birth, so that you're not having to do anything but self-care. It is amazing. Dads are also going to be key in this. So dads and partners really need to also be mindful of their self-care. They need to be able to get the sleep they need, especially if they're going back to work and you're staying home, or vice versa. Sleep is one of those self-care things that cannot be understated. It is also important, just like being able to take a 5-minute shower. May not be that luxurious 30-minute shower that you're used to taking, but 5 minutes can make a huge difference for sure. All right, let's talk a little bit more about sleep. So the most common wisdom, of course, is being able to catch some Z's when your newborn is, right? That whole phrase, sleep when baby sleeps. This is really true. It's not always going to be possible for you to sleep when your baby's sleeping. But if you're able to sleep part of the time that your baby's sleeping, you're going to be able to catch up on some of that lost sleep from the night before, which is going to make you feel a little bit better when it comes to sort of those witching hours of evening time. And I really guarantee you that you're gonna feel the urge to get up and wash dishes, do laundry, let the dogs out, call a friend, get back. But if you do those things, as soon as you get those things done and you're ready to lay down, what's going to happen? Your baby's going to wake up. So sleep first. Know that you can get to those things, but they are not most important. Sleeping is most important. You will get to everything else and it'll be okay. All right. In the postpartum, I often have, or in the prenatal period, I often have a lot of couples who talk about getting prepared for how they can get meals. So we're going to talk a little bit about how you can ensure that you have a nice variety of nutritious foods, whether you're making them or somebody else is delivering them. So we often want to get our bodies back. So that's a lot of the things that I hear from women after they deliver. When am I going to get my body back? And your body is changed. It's not going to go back exactly to how it was before. But what I focus on for moms is saying, hey, let's feed your body the good nutrients that it needs to be able to heal. And if you're breastfeeding, to be able to have a wonderful breast supply and feel confident about that. Understand how those things that we eat and put in our body can really assist in our healing and our baby's thriving. You may have friends or family who want to help, right? A great thing for you to do with your those people is to say, hey, we're really looking to stock up our freezer, or hey, we're going to have a meal train. Would you like to bring us a meal? Those are really wonderful things that you yourself or a good friend or your doula can set up for you, so that you have either frozen meals that you can pull out of the freezer or some meals that are coming in fresh. And I often tell moms, like, after you give birth, you want to have some nice variety of food. You want to have a lot of fibrous things to help your system get back in order. So it's nice to have the balance of the fresh and the old, or fresh and kind of a frozen variety. It is also really helpful too for a lot of moms to have warm things. So like, uh, if you think about like what time of year it is when you're giving birth, if it's going to be summertime, you might want more fresh fruits and things like that that are cooling. But if it's going to be wintertime, your body is going to accept and be nourished more about like soups and stews and warm foods. It gives us sort of this energy, and is easily digested. I often tell women that if you tend to be on the sluggish side with your digestion, you might want to avoid or stay away from anything that creates that sluggishness in your system, because your whole body is being reset, and it takes a little bit of time for that to get back on track. And so we want to support that to get back to a healthy digestion and a healthy cycle. So you're going to have times when you're going to get fast, quick food, right? But if you can be mindful of having a good variety of healthy fats, nice, clean proteins, whether that's in a vegetarian diet through beans and other choices, or through meats and fish and poultry. So I love talking about all that kind of stuff. I could talk with you all night. I'm a health coach too, so I really love helping moms navigate nutrition. It is can make or break how we feel sometimes if we have really good food. And moms shouldn't be standing up cooking all day. Not a good way for you to rest and recover. All right. Being a new mom should not slow you down from being active. So after that first couple of weeks and your provider says, yeah, you can start exercising again, then you want to get up and start moving. It is recommended to be up and moving as soon as possible, slowly and gently, even after cesarean section. It can be really helpful for moms who've had belly birth to get that moving and get those gases and stuff that abdominal surgery can create within our bodies. So movement is really good, but movement does need to be sort of slow and gentle and intentional. While you really don't want to jump into things like jumping jacks or sit-ups or those kind of things, but simple walks, it can really help also with our mood and our emotional health to be able to get up and out. I find that a lot of moms in the winter time, it's harder for them. So find a postpartum exercise class, a gentle yoga class where you can get childcare, or and go walking in the mall, doing anything that you can to get out and have a little bit of movement. It's going to give you just that fresh air, vitamin D, a change of scenery. It's going to also strengthen your body, your muscles, get your blood flowing. It helps with our positive outlook. So try to shift that into more and more increments as you start to feel stronger. So that you'll get that six week postnatal visit, and they'll give you that green light to be okay for any type of exercise. I'm going to touch on a subject again because it doesn't really matter how independent, courageous, and strong, or educated, or researched you are as a mom. Perinatal mood and anxiety disorders, some of which are postpartum depression, postpartum anxiety, happen to the best of us. So 1 in 7 women will experience the complication of pregnancy and childbirth, which is perinatal mood and anxiety disorders. Most women will experience baby blues. So baby blues is a very different thing than perinatal mood and anxiety disorders. And some moms may have pre-existing anxiety or depression that they've dealt with, and that will be something that could also influence them to get PMADs, or perinatal mood and anxiety disorders. So it's often a good idea to talk with your counselor, talk with your provider, talk with your doula about how you're feeling, so that they know if you're feeling like you need some support with that. They typically going to have a lot of wonderful resources, whether those are support groups or talking with a counselor more frequently, or maybe even medication to help you get through that. This is a number one complication of pregnancy and birth. And I don't ever want to tell people like, oh, you probably won't get that, because it could be you. You just want to know what it is. Know that it's more than the baby blues. Don't confuse it with that. It lasts longer than a few weeks, and it typically lasts day after day after day. It's not something that, oh, I had a bad day today. I felt really sad, but today I'm feeling better. That is not what most women feel. It can be anything in the ranges of just irritable, really cranky, really sad and tearful, not bonding with your baby, having irrational thoughts, thoughts of self-harm, lots of different ways. So always reach out to somebody who has been trained and has an understanding of how to help support you, or to help you find support. It is something that you can get through, and it is very treatable. Okay. The last tip that I want to leave with you is something I really want you to pledge. Do not ever compare yourself. So one of the biggest disservices that we can do to ourselves and others is to compare ourselves, or to post things on social media that other people could compare themselves to. I think that we want to share our experiences of our children or our babies with our friends, but we do also need to be mindful of where those people that you're sharing that with are at. I've had lots of moms who kind of stay away from social media because it makes them, they can't get away from the comparing, and they start to get obsessive on it. So if that's you, just take a step back from that world and focus on being a parent, focus on being motherhood. It does not matter what your best friend swears by, right? Or what the mother of two said to you in mom group, and what your mother-in-law recommends, or what the media tells you. Really, every person's parenting style is going to be unique to you, because you were the only one living it, and you were the only one with your baby. And so I think listening to your baby, talking to your providers, talking to your doula, talking to your partner, and figuring out what's the right thing for you. And the wonderful thing is that those things are always usually temporary. The shifts that we make as parents are temporary for the time and the development of your child, and then we shift again. So we're constantly, as parents, reevaluating and shifting. And I can literally guarantee that no two mothers are going to agree on every topic exactly the same. So we need to know that there's a lot of ways to parent, and there's no one right way to parent, right? And all those kids out there can be parented differently and be healthy, unique, wonderful children. So you have got this. You are going to trust yourself and your partner, and you're going to navigate through beautifully. So cherish every moment. This is a journey that should be a happy and healthy one, and with the right support and the right positive community surrounding you, you are going to do this beautifully. We are here to help you if you have questions. If you have a wonderful provider who has some good recommendations, check those out. Your community, your friends are going to have wonderful resources. Your local library is going to have wonderful resources. online does have wonderful resources, but it also can take you down a rabbit hole that can cause a lot of anxiety. So sometimes I always recommend like go to a reputable source, an evidence-based source, and stick that way rather than just hitting in keywords and Googling. It can really make you feel more confused than when you started. So we hope that you enjoyed tonight's webinar on simplifying motherhood. We encourage moms to come to, if you're in the Boone area, to come to Babes on Blankets. In the Tri-Cities area, there's some wonderful new mom groups that meet at the library, and we can send you that information. Just you can contact us by emailing info@highcountrydoulas.com or calling us at 828-278-8949. If there's anything that we didn't cover tonight, I'm going to take questions, so put those in the chat bar or send me an email. I'd love to answer those for you. We want you to have a wonderful experience, and we are here for you. All right.